What's poppin', guys? This is Housecat MMA, and right now I'm going to be going over my predictions for UFC Fight Night, Kape versus Brandon Royval. But before I get into all that, if you would just take a second to like and subscribe, I guarantee you that'll be the coolest thing you've done this morning. So, jerking the curtain, we got Jamie Lynn Horth, not to be confused with Jamie Lynn Spears, and Teresa Bleda going at it. Bleda is more of a grappling focused gal, and Horth is a bit more of a striker. Horth is 10 and a half years older than Bleda. Both women are tall for the 125-pound weight class. So I think I'm going to go Bleda by decision on this one. I think she'll out-grapple Horth. Either decision or submission. If I had to choose one, I'd probably go some sort of submission. Next up, we got Alan Fry versus Guilherme Pat. Both of these men are pretty athletic to be heavyweights. Both are tall. Both are pretty big. They're both very striking focused. I think Pat is considerably more fast, considerably more athletic, and I think he gets it done by TKO and probably the second or third round, maybe the second. Now we got Melissa Croden versus Luana Santos. Luana Santos likes to throw. She likes to scramble. Mainly a grappler, but she'll throw down if she has to. She can hit hard. And when she gets to swinging for the fences, she gets to swinging real wide and kind of has her head straight up in the air. Croden is more of a striker. She really likes knees in the clinch, and she'll throw down if she has to. I think Santos is a little more hard-nosed, so I think that she's going to get it done by some form of decision, maybe 29-28. Now we got Sean Sheriff versus Steven Asplund. So Asplund has what I like to call fuck you power. Just basically like punches you, and and it's kind of like when he punches you, it's a punch that says fuck you, don't get so close to me, and the other guy feels it and he thinks twice before he crosses him. Sheriff has stopping power, meaning he punches you, he flatlines you. I do think Asplund is tougher, definitely tougher than he looks, and I think he's tougher than people think, but I'm going to go Sheriff by knockout, because I was watching Sheriff highlights, and he was just knocking motherfuckers the fuck out. Granted, one of the dudes he knocked out looked like Gabriel Iglesias just got out of prison, but still, I mean, he was doing some impressive things in there in the regional circuit. Now we got Neil Magny versus Yaroslav Marmasov. Yaroslav is just your standard East European fighter. Good everywhere, but prefers to grapple. Neil Magny is a wrestler before he's anything else. My brain says Yaroslav is gonna win, but I'm gonna say some potentially stupid shit and say that Neil Magny's gonna get yet another come from behind win. Neil Magny third round TKO like he did to Mike Malott. Now we got Joe Anderson Brito versus Isaac Thompson. Joe Anderson fights like a alcoholic lacrosse coach, and he can also grapple a little bit. He had a really good fight against Diego Lopez that he actually won on the Contender Series by a technical decision. Brito poked him in the eye a little bit, and since it was the third round, they just went by who was winning the fight up to that point, and he got the decision. And Isaac Thompson's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's really slick on bottom, and I think he'll threaten with submissions against Brito, but I think Brito's going to get it done. I think Brito's got a little more ass, and I think Brito gets it done by some sort of TKO. Now we got Amanda Lemos versus Jillian Robertson. Amanda Lemos is mainly a striker, but she's okay on the ground. But if she has a weakness, it is on the ground, and her takedown defense is not terrible, but she does get taken down. And Jillian Robertson is very much like Neil Magny, where she's a grappler above everything else. Very good at jiu-jitsu, very experienced in the UFC, and I think that Robertson's gonna get it done. My cat is a burden to production. Those of you new to the channel, I have this cat. His name's Hodor, off the character on after the character on Game of Thrones, and he likes to fuck up production. I think he knows when I'm in the middle of production, and he just, for some reason, he doesn't like it. So he just tried to tip my camera over. Now, so yeah, Robertson by decision. I think she's going to grapple fuck Lemos. Now we got Bobby King Green versus Lance Gibson Jr. King Green is what I like to call just a skilled street fighter. Like, he can get down everywhere. He can get down on the feet. He can get down on the ground. He is a very well-rounded guy, actually, more than he gets credit for, even. And Lance Gibson, his dad fought in the UFC back in the early 2000s. His dad went 0-2 in the UFC, losing a fight to Dan Severn at one point. And Gibson's seemingly been fighting his whole life. His dad had him into everything since he was a boy. Very young man, 30, 31 years old. He's about to turn 31, actually. And Lance prefers to grapple. Green prefers to strike. So I'm going to go... Something tells me Gibson's going to win this, as bad as... Because I love King Green, but I think Gibson's going to win it. And now we got Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Marcus Buchecha. This is one of those fights because Buchecha is like overly a grappling specialist, and Nzechukwu is kind of like a striker first, but he's kind of okay at everything. Buchecha just dropped one to Martin Buday not too long ago. And I mean, I like Martin Buday as much as the next guy, but he ain't that good, and Buchecha lost to him. And Kennedy Nzechukwu is just like, he's okay. He's been top 15 at one point. He's just not overly dangerous, though. He's tall, and I think that might give Marcus fits. But if I have to choose a winner, which is what I'm doing here, I'm gonna go Marcus Buchecha by decision. What you're hearing right now is my cat, and he is a burden to production. He's cool, though. He's a cool cat. He's a hell of an animal. Hodor, come here. You want to make a cameo? He's not listening to me. Now we got I'm having trouble with this. Melchizedek Costa versus Morgan Charrier. Costa's got wins over Julian Erosa and Andre Fili, and you know he can strike his dick off, he can grapple his ass off, so he's a bad motherfucker coming and going. Marcus Charrier he's like a cross between Mike Easton and Yoel Romero. He strikes like Mike Easton and explodes like Yoel Romero. And as far as who's gonna win that fight, I'm gonna go Morgan Charrier. I think he's a little bit too athletic for Costa, but who knows? Then we got Cesar Almeida versus Cesare Oleg Sejuk. I have trouble with that dude's last name. So Cesare has an older brother named Michael Oleg Sejuk or something like that, who's been fighting the UFC a little minute, and Cesar Almeida, hell of a kickboxer, durable guy, coming off of a knockout win of Abdul Razak Al Hassan against Abdul Razak Al Hassan, and that's kind of a pick'em as far as I'm concerned. I got a feeling about this Cesare cat. I think Cesare is going to win. I think Cesare is going to win by decision too. And now we got Giga Chikadze versus Kevin Vallejos. Kevin Vallejos is really good at fighting. He's 16-1. He's 24 years old. He fought to a decision against John Silva, and if you fight to a decision against John Silva, that means you're not a pussy. So I'm going to go Kevin on this one. Giga struggled recently. He's coming up losses to Arnold Allen and David Onama. And unfortunately, I think he's going to drop one to Kevin Vallejos as well by decision. And now we got Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape. Manel Kape is like the fight game Joe C. Joe C was a man who unfortunately died back in the year 2000. He used to hang out with Kid Rock, and he was famous for saying, "I'm 3'9" with a 10-foot dick," because he had a growth defect. He wasn't very tall. He's probably every bit of 3'9", and apparently he had a 10-foot dick, and that's how Manel Kape fights. That's how Manel Kape carries himself, as if he's 3'9" with a 10-foot dick, and he's the ladies' pick, and he's a crazy hick. So, and Brandon Royval he likes to beat guys who he's supposed to lose to on paper. I think people are, within the past like 18 months, are starting to realize how good he is. And I think that Royval is going to beat Kape just because he just likes winning fights against guys who are better than him. I think Joshua Van would have beat Pantoja very convincingly had Pantoja not hurt himself. I think Van's that good, and I think Royval is that good because even though Van did basically did dominate Royval was in it at certain points. I think Royval's a bad motherfucker. So, and I think Kape and Royval have a pretty good 5-round scrap. I think it might be one. I think he's going to be top 10 fights in the year 2025. And this is the last card of 2025, so that'd be pretty cool if the main event was pretty bitchin', pretty fun to watch. That's pretty much all I have on that. The sounds you were hearing was my menace of a cat, but he's a cool cat. I love this cat. He's a cool guy. That's a cat. I mean, that is a cat. But yeah, this is House Cat MMA, and I will catch y'all later.